Alright, fellas, hear me out. It sounds simple, but if you're not better than your teammates in college, how likely is it that you're going to be better than your teammates in the pros? It doesn't seem very likely to me. However, every single year, this common fact gets overlooked, and especially this year, there are multiple backs that get beat out by other college running backs, and then people are like, "Oh my God, look at him on this film. Look at how he cuts. He's a top 5 back." I'm like, dude, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? It doesn't have to be this hard, guys. If he's not better than his teammates, it's unlikely he's better than the pros. But here, this video applies to multiple people, okay? Multiple running backs in this draft class, and it's much easier for running backs because it's like one versus one, you know, like one's better than the other, so they get targets, right? There's no preference for quarterback or whatever. It's just if you're better, you're getting playing time, right? So I'm gonna go through multiple backs. This is a very informative video about multiple people, so stay tuned. I think Etienne is gonna be in the title, but it's about all the guys. So give it a watch. All right, here we go. Obviously I brought my AP stats knowledge, you know, to this, and I pulled out some numbers. You know what I'm saying? Oh wait, which tab is it, guys? I don't know what tab it is. This tab right here. Okay, so like I was saying, it sounds simple at first, but hear me out. If you can't beat your teammates in college, how is it gonna happen in the NFL? Well, okay. Kennedy Brooks is everyone's daddy. Matter of fact, I might re-upload this video with that exact title like a year from now and get a bunch of views, you know. But until then, I'm just gonna call it an Etienne video. Anyways, Kennedy Brooks is kind of a dog because I'll check this out. In 2017, Trey Sermon is a freshman, and he gets outproduced by a sophomore, Rodney Anderson, who goes on to be a 6th-round pick. 6th-round pick. Trey Sermon gets outproduced by him, right? So not very good for Sermon there. And then junior year, Kennedy Brooks freshman outproduces Sermon significantly. In 2019, as a sophomore, Kennedy Brooks monopolizes the backfield, and Ramondre Stevenson basically matches Sermon's production, very very slightly. I have a video coming about that, but they're about neck and neck. So it's like Stevenson and Sermon are like the 2A 2B, and Kennedy Brooks is just a dog. He's just beating everybody. And then after that, Brooks opts out of 2020, and Sermon says, "How about this bitch? I can't beat out Ramondre. You know what I'm saying? I can't beat out this big hunk of a man. Let me go to OSU with no competition." Here I am now. I'm a dog. I'm the only dog, actually. And so Sermon leads the backfield at OSU in 2020, and he beats Master Teague, who is awful. Master Teague is awful. Don't draft Master Teague. He's bad. He's really bad. In fact, if you draft Master Teague, just unfollow me or unsubscribe wherever you're watching. Yeah. Anyways, Ramondre Stevenson goes on to lead the Oklahoma backfield and puts on a very impressive stat line in 6 games, beating out TJ Pledger, almost like monopolizing the backfield while he's there. Puts up a very impressive stat line and has some good catches too. So Ramondre is pretty good there. But that is Trey Sermon, Kennedy Brooks, and Master Teague and Stevenson. So what that scenario says to you is Brooks is a dog, Stevenson is all right, and Sermon couldn't beat out anybody, so he had to transfer. Okay. Not very good for Sermon there. Not very good for Sermon. I have more videos on Sermon, but like that is just not a good piece of data, right? So I said Javonte Williams beats out Michael Carter, but it really was a split evenly. It was just like Williams was like getting the TDs and the points. But anyways, let me go through a better scenario, right? This is an Etienne video. You know what I'm saying? This is why you clicked on it, and here we are. You have confidence in Etienne because he can separate from lesser competition. Okay, check me out, right? In 2016, Wayne Gallman comes in and is monopolizing the backfield. He is an absolute dog. He's just putting up 1,100 yards. And Tavian Feaster, who actually is pretty good, he blazes. He's really fast. He is second on the team in rushing, right? Feaster is a number 1 upper back coming out, and he's a very good talent, but he gets beat up by Etienne. Etienne beats him out eventually. Okay. Feaster then transfers to LSU. Feaster, who got beat up by Etienne. Okay, this is where it gets like mind expansion, right? So Etienne beats out a very talented Feaster, right? Feaster transfers to to South Carolina, and then Feaster outcarries Gaines and is more efficient than the incumbent starter Rico Dowell. Dowell played in the NFL this year, got some carries for the Cowboys, and Feaster is on the practice squad for the Lions. So what does that say here? What does that say here? If Etienne forced Feaster to transfer, which he did, he can beat out lesser talent, right? Who's actually like pretty talented. And then Feaster goes to South Carolina and beats out an NFL player. So Etienne forced a very talented back to go transfer, and then that back that he beat out on an NFL player. So Etienne is just a dog at that point, right? I mean, he comes in, young kid, just forces guys to transfer, and the people that transfer go on to be successful at other universities. I mean, that is just crazy. That is just ludicrous, right? So that's the main thing. I'm gonna talk about Javonte a little bit and Michael Carter. I don't have a strong preference on either of them. I mean, Williams is obviously of requisite size, but Carter kind of looks like Ray Rice, but that's besides the point. I'm just concerned that one of them couldn't separate. I mean, like, if you have two talented backs, like a Feaster who can blaze and is like a very good talent in high school, and Etienne was better, so he beat him out and had like a monopoly of the back share. If you have, I'm not gonna call Sermon talented, but if you have a Trey Sermon, and a Kennedy Brooks, and a Ramondre Stevenson, Brooks proves that he's the best one and is clearly the leader in carries. But for Williams and Carter, they're almost the same person in terms of like efficiency and all that stuff. They were very, 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 very similar. So I just have questions, just like purely from a production standpoint, of how good they truly are if they couldn't separate. Now, we've seen good running backs in the same backfield. I mean, like Alabama produces them like every year. I mean, we had Damien Harris, Josh Jacobs just a couple years ago, and I mean it happens like all the time. But it's just not encouraging because I mean we've seen scenarios where I mean a Feaster has to transfer because Etienne's good, or Kennedy Brooks just forces Sermon to transfer. I mean, if there's a superior clear lead back, likely that person is going to take over and get a monopoly of the job. So the fact that nobody was able to do that at Carolina kind of concerns me. I'm not going to knock them down too much, but it's a piece of context that you need to keep in your mind when you're ranking these backs. Like, if Javonte Williams couldn't be a workhorse back at his own school, how is he going to go to the NFL and beat out an NFL running back who is likely going to be better than Michael Carter? It's just kind of hard to think about. But for a guy like Etienne, let's say he goes to Miami, right? I mean, that'd be awesome. But Miami has fringe talent at best there, and we know that he can beat out fringe talent. So, like, Etienne beat out Feaster, who beat out Dowell, and Dowell and Feaster are both like fringe talent, like replacement level bad backs. And Etienne has proven to beat out bad backs. So we know if Etienne goes to a spot, he's likely going to be the best back on the roster because he can beat out talent. But if Williams goes to a team like the Dolphins, he's probably the best back there, but we don't know because we haven't seen it like definitively. Like, we've seen him split work. And next year, when Kennedy Brooks goes to, I mean, I'm just going to keep using Miami, goes to Miami, we know that he can beat out guys like Sermon and Stevenson, and so he's going to be able to beat out the lesser challenges at his position out, like on his team, and that just inspires more confidence in me because it's one thing to be talented, but if you can't beat out the talent around you, like, what's the point, right? So, basically, big idea here is that Etienne, and this is like more video like that I want you to like look at and use this when you're prospecting running backs. Like, look at their situation and see what happens because it can be very valuable. So, like, the takeaway player wise is that Travis Etienne is good enough to beat out fringe talent in the NFL. So whatever team he goes to, he's likely going to be the best running back there. And Trey Sermon isn't. So whatever team Trey Sermon goes to, he's likely not going to be the best running back because Kennedy Brooks is not as good as a lot of like NFL backs, but Sermon couldn't beat out Brooks. So like, you get it right. Anyways, so that is like player wise, and also Williams and Carter. Be kind of worried because who knows if they can take over backfield. I mean, we haven't seen it, so we don't know. That's like player wise takeaways, but like process wise, do this for every running back, right? I mean, I was just doing Ramondre Stevenson, which is kind of like in this video, but I was doing some research on him, and he he went to JUCO, and this is kind of like a tangent, but he went to JUCO. Comes in, splits work immediately as a junior, which is like his like first season at Oklahoma. Uh, splits work with Brooks and Sherman, I believe, and then after that, like after like 1 year of like split production, he comes in and in his 6 games that he plays before opting out, he demands the entire backfield. He beats out TJ Pleasure and a couple of other guys, and he is the guy there, getting almost all the carries. And that doesn't say that Stevenson can carry the load and be the best player in a backfield, because like it wasn't like big volume, but at least that inspires confidence that hey, he can beat out worse backs, because like I mean TJ Pleasure likely isn't going anywhere. Like I mean he might be a Tavian Feaster, but he's not going anywhere like crazy. But Stevenson was able to beat out this less competition and be the guy for X amount of time. So just think about that when you're prospecting, guys, because it's something very simple, but also people don't grasp it quite yet, and it can be very helpful. So I hope this helps you. Etienne, very good. Kennedy Brooks, very good. Trey Sermon, Ramondre Stevenson, pretty good. Javonte Williams, Michael Carter, I have doubts. I mean, they could both be good, but it's more likely that neither of them were elite enough to elevate talent, to elevate themselves above the talent because they split the work. So yeah, be wary of those guys, and have a great day.